Hello, man. Hello, Mgtows. Hey, Tim, how's my sound? Can you hear me out there? Last podcast, my sound wasn't all that great. It didn't start for 3 minutes, and I can't understand that.
Hello, Mgtows.
Oops, there it
Hey,
is.
Tim, how's my sound?
There it is. There it is. I can hear it. So, what do we talk about today? Today, I put up a little saying. It's an old-fashioned thing from an old-fashioned book in an old-fashioned time that was a lot like the new Mgtow time. When we take a realistic look at the new Mgtow movement, it becomes clear that the teachings and the ideologies are reconstituted and regurgitated doctrines of demons from our past, the hippie movement, the beatnik movement, the free love movement, even the poetic movement, hence the title of this podcast, The-electric-koolaid-acid-test. I've long forgot about the movements and the hippie drugs and the drug addict kids that found themselves on the verge of an awakening of a brand new red pill called acid way back in the day, and never realized it was not about the actual drug. It was about the freedom and the free thinking that came along with it. The only difference now is that we repackage it. We put it in shiny boxes and bows of self-realization, the red pill intellect, even the exclusion that comes along with it. We do it in our way, the way we did it, as we begin this new program, same as the old program and the old program before that. Let's take a look at the same old New Age men's movements. All generations think they're the end all. I like to look at Thoreau when Thoreau is walking off the tracks down to his camp, and he's seen the garbage laying on the railroad tracks, and he's seen that how the people were acting, and he came up with an idea. He said, all generations think they're the end all to the generation before them. They think they're the cat's meow or the newest thing, but they quickly find that the new group, the new generation, the new group of the newest same old is coming down the pipe and nipping at their toes. And we often forget, what was the real acid test? What was that beginning, that criteria that made you a Mgtow? What was the acid test that brought you to this new group? Because that's all we are, is we're the new old, same old, always nipping at the same old's toes. Thoreau said it right. We're the next best thing. Trying to get a little red pill intellect and self-realization, but what we're really saying is we're trying to achieve freedom, free thinkers, freedom in our lives as men, the same as we've been doing for the last 60 years. The people thought they were doing that before that. The free love people doing that before that. The beatnik people thought they were doing that. And I suppose there was groups and other groups and groups before that, and probably groups based on alcohol consumption, and groups on playing football, and groups that playing sports, and groups that slung sticks in the woods, all trying to make a new sense of freedom for themselves. And that's the question today on the Throwdown. I hope somebody shows up. If anybody wants to come in, please let me know you want to come in. And that's today's Throwdown. And I'm Traversable, but you can all just call me Joe, because that's my name. And what do you guys think about the new? What do you think about, what was the acid test that brought you to Mgtow? When we talk about an acid test, we're talking about how to tell when something's golden. That's the acid test. What is golden? What isn't golden? What's a Mgtow and what is not a Mgtow? What is not a Mgtow? That's the big question. An acid test is a test that you take a little drop of nitric acid or sulfuric acid, And the acid is in increments to a higher acid. And if you're silver, you put a little drop on there, and if it scorches the silver, it's not very good silver. It's probably 80% tier. That's what an acid test is. Now the gold, you got white gold, so you put a little bit of nitric acid on there, and it won't burn the gold. It won't scorch the gold. And you make it through the acid test. The acid test is a Harsh test. Here in Mgtow, we have a few acid tests. Here in Mgtow, we have a few of those tests. But what are those tests? What is the criteria that makes a man a Mgtow? Has he gone through a lot of things in his life? Does he have a little bit of that red pill awakening in him? How can you tell a Mgtow when you see a Mgtow? What made him? There's a lot of things that make a Mgtow too. I'll often say that there are Mgtow makers out there that make Mgtows. And then they think differently after they have their event in their lives, that awakening, that moment where they realize that this shit sucks. Same as the beatnik movement. Back in the early 50s, Tom Wolfe wrote a book. It was called The-electric-koolaid-acid-test. I read it when I was just a kid. It was mandatory reading for us hippie kids. I was grown and raised a hippie kid. It was about LSD and psychedelic drugs. There was a bunch of guys, Ken Kingsley and the Merry Pranksters, and they were going to make this new world. And my buddy MT3 Mgtow teacher says I'm sort of like one of those guys in there. Neil Cassidy. Neil Cassidy was the bus driver of the bus called the Further. They made their way from LA to New York, taking acid and talking about stupid shit, trying to define their movement. At the end of the book, Neil Cassidy doesn't accept it. Ben Kingsley wants him to come off the drugs and just realize that it's an awakening, a red pill awakening. They were trying to push that idea through at that point. It was about freedom, about men's rights. It was about all people's rights. And no one got it. And then that movement failed. It's a very cool book. It's a little bit of red pill reading. I know it has to do with a lot of that hippie acid movement, and the government sent it out, and the government was in control of that. I don't want to know about all that NWO bullshit. But there was an idea behind it. There was an idea of men that wanted to be free, of people that wanted to be free of this government oppression, free of wars. That's what we're talking about here in Mgtow. Yeah, each Mgtow has a different path, Tim says it. Yeah, Vertex says his girlfriend was definitely a Mgtow. Yeah, there's a lot of Mgtow makers out there, single mamas. We complain about them all the time, but they're just making Mgtows. And they're making Mgtows at a phenomenal rate now. They got simp factories going where they're just rolling them down off the production line, single baby mama simp factories. Mangina factories, white knight factories, just rolling them off that production line. And that baby mama, 42 million baby mamas out there, is just a factory of simpness and sadness. It's a factory of sadness. We're not allowed to talk about that, they say, but we do talk about it here on the Throwdown, here in Mgtow, because that's what we do. We're trying to protect our society as men. We're trying to come up with some new red pill ideas as men. Future. We can protect the men in our future from slavery and incarceration and suicide and all those things. And we're not the first men to do that. We've done a great job of it. We pushed this thing past most movements. We made it a movement. Everybody knows about Mgtow out there. There's not a lot of people that don't know about it now. And if they say they don't know about it, they're probably pretty dense. We're going to push this thing into a new awakening, that event's horizon, so we can look over everything and decide as a male what you want to be without having to go to jail, without having your freedoms taken, without being incarcerated, without being subjected to having to go to war. That's what we're talking about around here. But a lot of people don't realize what it's about. It's the same old movement. I wouldn't say it's a lot like the original movement, the beatnik movement, but we are a lot like the beatnik movement. We got some cool cats saying some cool things, a little bit of jazz, funky feeling. We don't have a music that surrounds Mgtow. They don't make of women are whores music. Maybe it's rap, maybe it's jazz, maybe it's some old-fashioned soul, deep down South music. I don't know what we listen to. It's not about that. It's about being men. We're not getting hijacked. We're not getting diverted from the topic on sex. That's what happened to the hippie movement. They just wanted to have sex and fuck all the time. Then they had babies and figured out what real life was about. What they were buying into was their own subjugation. They failed. A lot of the movements failed before us. We've seen the MRA movement fail before us, but still clinging to life. Still clinging to life there. We've seen the mesopoetic movement before that. The Christians getting red, all in the, we've seen the Million Man Black Man March, which was the same thing as the mesopoetic movement. It was 1 million men, Christians, got together in a stadium and they said, fuck this. Fathers are important. And then they died off because they couldn't stop fucking. And then the hippies couldn't stop fucking. And the black men couldn't stop fucking. And the beatniks couldn't stop fucking. And they were just buying into their own subjugation. Couldn't stop for a couple years to talk about what was important to men. What was the acid test on that? How are we going to get men in here? How are we going to do this thing? How are we going to proselyte? It's not a bad word. How are we going to proselyte men into Mgtow? We see more men going out. We see more men raging. We see more men getting mad than we see they're coming, they're going all the time. It makes my head split open every morning. I wake up and I type in Mgtow, then I sort it down to today, and I see hundreds of men all wanting to talk about being a man, all wanting to talk about being a Mgtow, asking questions. What is this new Mgtow thing? What is this new Mgtow thing? Some of them don't pass the acid test. They're like, my Mgtow is going to get a bitch. Some of them don't pass it. Some of them don't understand it at all. And you got to tell them, you don't understand this. You don't understand what it's about. And then we get called inclusive people. You guys are too inclusive. No, there's a simple understanding. There was a simple understanding in Ben Kingsley's day, and Neil Cassidy's day. What was that groovy cat that used to do the speeches in the 70s? I can't remember his name. I forgot about that guy. The anti-war speeches. He just faded away. Now we got Barbarossa, the great speaker. He's the great orator. He brought us together with his oratory skills. He bound us here and made a group. Before that, Mgtow was around. We were fumbling. We were tripping on ourselves. We were arguing amongst ourselves of what is this thing that we see, this red pill that we see. What is this Mgtow thing we're trying to articulate? And I think we've done a pretty good job of that. Over 360,000 videos. Give yourself a hand and not that slow, embarrassing clap. You guys did a great job, each and every one of Mgtow. Type in Mgtow, Google, videos, 360,000 of them will come up, 360,000 articles. We pushed it out there, but now we have to define it. It's time to define it. It's time to say what a Mgtow is. Not these perverts running around saying they're going to tie girls up and beat them. That's not a Mgtow. Not about that, the immortal. It's not a bunch of retards being dumped on us by some cognitive therapy bullshit from some mental health program. It's not about that. That's how they destroy us. That's how they want to destroy us. They have a deep desire down in their souls. I see it every day with these idiots that come around. I seen it last night. I'm sitting there talking on RPG's podcast, and we got a slow. First, it was one guy, and he come up and he made stupid sounds because he had nothing to say. He had nothing to say. So he made silly sounds, and he called us fags, and he called us gay. But he had nothing that quantified any idea at all. And then we had the next guy, and the next guy, and the next guy, and somehow the link got out. And then the steady roll of white knights and faggots and vaginas and queers and hippies and stupid people came around that couldn't articulate, that can have no ability to articulate a simple subject in speech, in words. All they can do is make funny noises and call fag. And it gets old, and they tell on themselves. We have to deal with it daily around here. I deal with it daily. God, I deal with it daily, and it pisses me off. Transgenders, Mgtow by default, cocksuckers, all those people. That's not Mgtow. You know what Mgtow is? It's a simple idea of men's freedoms. It's no longer acquiescing to the gynocentric. Very well. In a few words. It's no longer white knighting, simping, being a mangina, getting down on your knees and begging for that. Cynical cynic, yeah, he took down his video. Yeah, he took down his videos. He always does that because he's a punk-ass bitch that can't take the heat. And I'm sick of these punk-ass bitches that can't take the heat around here. Because a lot of us are working way too hard so these punk-ass bitches can do things like that. We had it with Journey. We had it with, what's his name, Link Blue. We've had it with a dozen before him. That thinking guy, hello, men, what's shaking? Whatever you said. Got 7,000 viewers and then chumped out. Fucking chumps. You weak-ass bitches. Can't take the heat. Get out of the fucking kitchen. Never was supposed to be here anyways. Because a lot of these guys don't have what it takes to be it. What was the acid test? That's what I'm talking about today. What was the acid test that made you a Mgtow? Are you strong enough? Are you resolved enough in your theories? Are you resolved enough in your manliness to be here? Or is next time one of these white knight punk-ass bitches come around and call you gay, will you stick your tail between your legs and climb back up into the monkey fucking tree? Because I'm sick of those men. I'm sick of those men running and hiding. Say it strong, man. Say it like a brother. And that's Mgtow. That's Mgtow. Had a punk-ass bitch woman make a video about us. She removed it this week. Couldn't stand the heat in the kitchen. Couldn't stand honest questions about why she was here. She took it down. And then we get that idiot Paul trolling it. Paul ain't a Mgtow. He's an idiot. He's a conspiracy theory nutbag that's stroking his cock while he's watching the girls on the other pages. like a, I don't want to go off about that. He goes by Flaming the Fag now or something like that. Flaming the Flag. I call it Flaming the Fag because that's what he is. He's a weak-ass, sissy punk motherfucker that don't belong in here. He don't belong in here with strong, honest men like myself and like Messenger, like Shining, like Timothy, like Veritech, and like Region of the Mass, like Ben Volacoaster. We don't need those guys around. Like Barbarossa. We don't, we need him around. We need strong men. Stardust, all the Mgtow crew, CS. We even like to have Nico around when he's not on his go get laid shit. Strong men, not sissy boys that run and hide, take their videos down every time they have a, today is the anniversary of my 600 video. 6 fucking 100 videos. I'm no Sandman. I don't do daily videos. Paul Proteus is back. Paul Proteus, one of my favorite guys, sitting over there. He's taking a trip over in Japan, telling us how screwed up it is. Looks like Cleveland on a bad night, actually. Looks like the red light area in Cleveland. And they're selling sex, and they're selling drugs, and they're selling alcohol, and they're selling happy unicorn bullshit. All over, everywhere you look, they're selling happy unicorn bullshit. Want men to go fuck in those back rooms and make little children's for their war games. That's what they want. But we had some real fine results this year in Mgtow. Last year, new guys, TFM. What a great kid he is. Has the balls, has the gumption. Yeah, I seen the Cavs are in trouble. I didn't watch the games. I was happy that they made it. Sports. Men like sports. I like sports. I think the Cavs will pull it out. I don't know. They're playing one of the best teams ever. Same thing over and over again. Last time we made it, we had to pay Michael Jordan's Bulls. Hey, Chris. Hey, Mgtow Universe. Yeah. Hello, guys. It's Sunday morning again. I don't have no one in yet. Maybe someone will show up. Maybe they won't. Maybe they're sick of me. I don't know. But that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about the acid test. What's it take to be a Mgtow? What kind of gumption, what kind of longevity will you need in here? If you don't have that longevity, please exit. Please exit now and say, I get it, but I don't need to be around here, and I'll go talk about it out there. Because if you're going to exit in, exit out, exit in, take your fans in with you, put them on a roller coaster ride of disappointment, you don't need to be doing that. Have a little longevity, man. You can appreciate guys like Stardust and Sandman and Barbarossa because they said, I'm going to do this and I'm going to keep doing it until something gets done. Even Paul Elam, John the Other, they're going to keep doing it until something gets done. Did you just watch Aaron Clary's last video? I thought his ideas in his Virgin Towel, whatever it is, I thought his ideas weren't cohesive. I thought that was one of his worst videos. I thought that his ideas were malformed and not cohesive. And I thought his ideas were of jealousy and anger towards Mgtow in a smart ass way. But that's what we get. These idiots, these orbiters around Mgtow, they're surfing the waves around Mgtow, trying to catch some fans, trying to catch some fame, trying to catch some, but they don't have the true message. They don't have the message that hurts, the message that's not going to make you a popular motherfucker around here. It's not going to make you a popular man on the internet saying some of the things we need to say. A matter of fact, it will probably make you more unpopular, but I ain't talking to those people because those people are stuck in the matrix and they can't see. Then people are going to breed and breed and breed, and they're going to breed themselves out of existence. And then they're going to make that baby mama simp factory work. They're the oil and the gears on the baby mama simp factory that's pumping out white knight vaginas, manginas, and simps at a phenomenal rate by the millions now. They're packaging them up, throwing them in trucks and dropping them in your neighborhood. And then you got to deal with all that harm. You got to deal with all that toxic white knightery, that pussy bagging, that mangina, that simp, them whores, them baby mamas, them egalitarian baby mamas that want everything. And I'm not totally against egalitarianism. I just wish they'd leave my capitalism alone. They have no place in my capitalism. They don't understand. That was TFM's video this morning. They don't understand. It's fine to have their egalitarian system where they sit their fat ass baby mama asses in their apartment and they pump out babies. But don't bother the men. We're doing a job. We got something to do. We're building the buildings, the streets, the railroads. We're building a new future. We're building the fucking pyramids. We don't need to have our wealth tapped every time. Just take care of your baby mamas, Uncle Sam. Take care of your baby mamas, whatever prospective government you're working in. I'll give you 20% taxes, but don't tell me I have to pay 50%. And then I got to give extra and I got to live on 30% of my pay or 20% of pay. Or worse, I get none of my pay and I'm living in a tent in back of the steel mill. Don't tell me that shit, because that's them fighting words in my book. I believe in an egalitarian system where we take care of our females and we pump out babies. But don't come bother me after that. I'll give you the 20%. I told you I'd like to give you the 20%, the 17%. But they never end. You give them an arm and they want to take a leg. You give them a hand, they want to take an arm. You give them a little help and they want it all. They want to drive away around in Mercedes-Benz while they're collecting child support and being a drain on the fucking economy. And the businesses around here lack terribly. There's no hardware store. I have 200 buildings around me closed up that the real estate people can't even sell, and they're burning them down. That's sitting across from a steel mill that's closed up, and they wonder why. They wonder why. The men are sick. We're sick. We live in a sick society. Sick-ass baby mamas. And they're happy with that. The 1% that are working for the government, they're happy with it. They want to reciprocate it. They want to manufacture poverty. Because that's what they do, because they're happy. They don't care if the 90% of people are in poverty. They don't care if there's no jobs. Because when there's no jobs, you have to go down to the Health and Human Services and apply. And then you become one of those parcel packages from the baby mama simp factory that they open up and go, ooh, I'm making money now. They're manufacturing poverty down at the simp factories. They're manufacturing poverty down at your local HHS. And they don't understand that they're manufacturing poverty. Because they're happy, because each one of those idiots are making $50,000 to $100,000 a year. Much more than the average worker is making in my area. The average worker in my area is making about $26,000 to $35,000 a year, and maybe in most cases less. While they're manufacturing the same poverty and making $100,000, and they should have their pay reduced or kick them out of their job because they're not doing a very good job. And that goes the argument. There goes on coming the argument with Donald Trump and this and that and Hillary Clinton. And no one understands what it really boils down to is your neighborhood, your jobs, your grocery stores, your children. And that's what Mgtow's about. That's what Mgtow's about. What do you guys want to talk about today? I'm almost done with my rant. It only went 31 minutes. It only took me 31 minutes. I can go back to the electric acid Kool-Aid test if you want to. What do you guys want to talk about? I can talk about anything. Give me an idea. Who should I invite in? Who do you guys want to see in? Not that they'll show up. Did anybody watch RPGs with the Simp Factory? We're talking about simps and white knights, and then they got a hold of the HTTP up there on the top, and then they spammed it out, and they started showing up and yelling and screaming and being idiotic. Not a coherent thought between all of them. And then they showed exactly what they were. Just apes beating on their chest. Apes still living in a fucking tree, tucking their tails between their legs like a bunch of little bitches, shouting out rude names from the treetops. Bunch of fags. You ever listen to that song, Games Without Frontiers? That's what that's about. Yeah, he nailed that one. He nailed that one. We've been talking about this red pill stuff for years and years and years and years and years. Way back to Thoreau, even before that, they probably had a wooden wheel where they're rolling around with a stick talking about red pill logic. But that's all they had was a wheel and a stick. How the wheel and a stick was going to ruin everything. How the generation before doesn't understand the generation after, and the generations in between all think they're the cat's fucking meow. And they don't want to work with each other. The men never want to work with anybody because they're beating their chest and climbing up into the trees and shoving their tails between their legs. Yeah, that was Peter Gabriel. I love that song. Games Without Frontiers. Creepy little song. Salisbury Hill. Love that song too. Real Mgtow shit in there. I'm going to take my bags. I'm going home. Mgtow's like coming home. When you get it, you're like, oh, fuck, I'm home. I'm home. I hear so many men say it. I must be home. Because I never felt this before. I never felt a connection with another man where he agreed with what I was saying. And I don't have to be that ape beating my chest and doing the terminate mating. I don't have to no longer be that mate. I don't have to no longer be that protector provider. The alpha male mate. The alpha male ape. We don't have to be that no more. We can arise, look out at the event's horizon, rise up. Rise up, man. That's all we're asking is rise up. Be, just be. That's all any philosopher from Hobbes, the Foucault, the Nietzsche, the Jung, whatever you call them, the Freud, that's always ever asking. Back to Aristotle, Socrates. They were saying, from the first words, they were saying, men, just be. Don't do, be. Looks like we'll have another podcast with nobody in. I have to work a little harder during the week to bring people in. I was talking to a Hillary Clinton fan. I asked him last night, I said, why are you voting for Hillary Clinton? And he said, because she's a woman. He said, because she's a woman. And that was the criteria for running one of the most dangerous countries in the world. Her criteria for that job was being a woman. We just went through that, didn't we? 16 years of just being a black guy was good enough. Before that, we just had 16 years of just being a rich guy was good enough. But Before that, we had 16 years of just being able to pay the trombone or trumpet or whatever Bill Clinton did was good enough. And then we had the guy's father before that. That was good enough. And then before that, just being a movie star, Ronald Reagan was good enough, and very few good presidents in between. My favorite was probably Jimmy Carter. I cried when he died. Loved to listen to him on the night shows. Loved to listen to him in general because he's a very intelligent, very well-spoken man. Love that guy. He had a crazy-ass brother that grew peanuts and liked to drink beer. That's what they said about him. That was his downfall. His crazy-ass brother. But why are we voting for these people? Do they actually have a fucking policy? Does Donald Trump actually have a fucking policy that he would like to share with us at some point here? Does Hillary Clinton actually have a fucking policy? What she taught? What you gonna do? Nothing, because the presidency now is a do-nothing job. It's a figurehead because the policies are all in place, and it has to do with Congress, and you can't get nothing to Congress if you have a bunch of idiots voting down everything that don't understand the simple policies. They're making way too much money for doing way too little work and get way too much press coverage from a media that doesn't have to tell the truth. My God, maybe I am the incarnation of Neal Cassady. Thank you, MT teacher. Thank you for that compliment. I got a real good compliment this week. He said I was the modern day on Neal Cassady. Thank you. It inspires me. But what are we doing here? What are we doing here in Mgtow? Every time I turn around, someone's trying to explain to me how to get pussy. I got 3 kids. That was never a problem for me. How to turn that off was the problem. Joe 2016. I do like that. Joe. I'm the electrician from Ohio, like the electrician from Poland that took over that country. I wish I could. So I'd fix this shit in a heartbeat. I'd close up the baby mama simp factories, put a big out of business sign on them. All the lawyers go home. All the judges go home. We're closing these simp factories up. Boom, one of those sticky label signs, out of business. I'll just pop them up all around on those. You go down to your local health and humans, your local library, get on the computer and apply for benefits if you need it. Get caught lying or we'll throw you in jail. See, I just solved everything. I just solved all their problems. That would cut our taxes in half, and men can start making businesses again. I do believe in an egalitarian system for women, and some jerk-ass Republican dork is going to go, Joe, you're egalitarian. No, I said I do believe in an egalitarian system for women, not for men. We need a capitalist system for men. We need men working. We need men enjoying themselves. We need men doing things, obtaining riches, building pyramids. We need men building buildings and bridges. Right now, the city of Chicago is short 20,000 men. They can't find 20,000 men in that whole fucking city that can build anything, because men are becoming simps and white knights, and that simp factory is pumping out malformed men because they don't have fathers to teach them how to build a fucking building. But that was the plan. That was the great egalitarian plan that Hillary Clinton and Obama and pretty much George Bush thought was going to work. The service industry, selling fucking hamburgers, was going to work. Being the maid or the waiter or the barmaid or the service greeter was going to work, and that money was going to be enough but it didn't work. And trickle-down economics was somehow going to work, make the rich richer. But that money never trickled down to the poor. And it made the poor poorer, and it dissolved our middle class. And then the rich bought up all the buildings, and it failed again at that. And they didn't take a hit. They didn't lose a dime. You know who took a hit and lose your dime? Your pension, my pensions. That's who took the hit. We've been paying for their stupidity for too long. Do we have a candidate now that wants to fix that? I think if I took them all and I squished them together in a ball with my mighty arms, my mighty Mgtow arms, and I squeezed them all together as one, and I took all their little brains and I squeezed it all together in one Donald Trump head, and then I molded it into a man, a real man, probably in my image, and then I put him as president, maybe something would get done. But separately, they all have singularly stupid ideas. One guy wants to build a fence around the country. One bitch wants to increase the women's rights movement. The other stupid guy wants to give away free money and say you don't have to work. And I agree with that in some capacity, that there aren't enough jobs. How can you tell a man to go out and work if there aren't enough jobs? If we got a shortage of 40 million jobs in this country, where are all those jobs going to come from? You're going to tell him he got to go work? He got to pay baby mama child support? Or you're going to throw him in jail, and then the prison industry's going to become daddies for cash, like they're doing with our kids for cash, when they're closing down the schools and putting fences around them and making them into kids for cash so they can teach them what they should have taught them in the regular school, a little fucking etiquette. But the next generation's coming along, and the next generation's coming along, and they think they're the end all to everything. They think they're the cat's meow. But we've been doing this so long now, from 1700s up to now, every generation thought they were the cat's meow, but no one fixed the fucking problem. Just have another war is always their answer. We can trim back that herd of men. Throw your brother under the bus. Throw your brother under the bus. It's about time we throw some bitches under the bus. Yeah, join the army. Go do that thing. See how pleasant that is. We got several men in here that's experienced that. We were dancing and partying in the army and having a good time. That's what they thought it was about. Until they got there and realized this shit sucks. This shit sucks. And then they came home to a divorce rife and a kid and child support and slavery and debtor's prison and said, this shit sucks twice. And this shit sucks 3 times. And there ain't no room for me in this world no more. I thought I was doing something good. Thought I was doing something honest and decent. And you come back to this Western world in America, where they're trying to enslave the soldiers. That's going to work out well. There's a book, Shakespeare. He writes a book about that, about soldiers coming back and politicians, chicken hawk politicians that never, John McCain, chicken hawk. Well, no, John McCain wasn't a chicken hawk. John McCain was a total loser, fucking a total loser pilot, which crashed 4 planes and started a fucking carrier on fire because he was playing around blasting the engines on his jet, and just so happened to catch the fuel on fire and killed 160. That's the kind of guys that we're electing. John McCain, the murderer. His father was an admiral. Nepotism that took him off the boat because the guys wanted to fucking kill him. and then went and crashed 4 planes because he was a terrible pilot. George Bush was in the Army Reserve and didn't think he needed to show up. Became our president because his daddy was president. And then they want to talk about Jeb Bush becoming president. After that nightmare, after that horror, a man elected with 32% of the electoral vote. That horror. Now we got Donald Trump. He's going to be the next savior. Is he going to be the next savior? Please enlighten me about what you're going to do to be the next savior. That's what they said about Obama. He was the next Jesus. He was going to cure all this. What has he done? It looks like the same country, just the food and the gas. The food costs more now. It costs double what it used to. That's all he did. And there's a lot of chain restaurants, and there's nobody starting hardware stores. And I see a lot of churches and hair care. Good going. Good going. I see the steel mills closed and 200 buildings in my area that don't promote business. There's no hardware store. I don't have a hardware store. The first thing that goes in a community that's failing is the hardware store closes. Didn't you know that? We got a Walgreens. The Rite Aid bought it. Before that, it was something else, and some other company bought that. All the Chinese places, deliveries closed up around here. I used to have 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. They all closed up because no one's ordering takeout Chinese. Can you imagine that? Living in a community like I live in where there's no takeout Chinese? We don't have a fucking takeout Chinese. You know why? Because the steel mill closed. Because while they were arguing about transgender sex politics, the fucking steel mill closed. And 200 buildings hence closed around that. Because they wanted to sit there and argue about transgender sexual politics in bathrooms. Does that make you mad? It should make you mad. It should make you terribly mad. You should be feeling rage every time you look over your city and you see 1,000 chain stores, the Walmarts, but you never see a hardware store, or you never see your local store that someone owns in the neighborhood anymore. And the steel mills are closed up, and all the bars are closed up, and men aren't having a good time, and men are going to jail because they can't pay their child support because there ain't no jobs, and we're short 42 million jobs, and they want to talk about transgender bathrooms. Really? Really? What's in the news today? Let's take a quick glance. Muhammad Ali died. He's been dying for years. He got his head pounded in. Trump criticizes a judge with Mexican heritage. That's the big issue. Donald Trump criticized a judge with Mexican heritage, and you're not allowed to do that now. A couple homes, Casa Bellas is on fire. The whole fucking world's on fire. Casa Bellas, many homes in LA. More Donald Trump news, what he's not allowed to say. Memphis cop is killed by a fleeting shooting suspect. Yeah, they're killing cops now because cops are killing them. More Donald Trump. A myriad of sports stories. Could a Muslim judge be Trump's neutral? That's more Donald Trump. I don't care. Fort Hood released the name of the soldiers killed in a training exercise. Men are dying. Couple guys forgot to open their parachutes while they were skydiving. Good job. Chicago recently released a video shooting of a police officer shooting someone. I don't know why he shot him, but the article above says they're shooting back at him now. Our country's all screwed up. Only happy news is WWE issue Brock Lesnar is now participating. Love that guy. Makes me happy. I love that the Cavs are in the playoffs because Cleveland needs it because their economy is fucking getting strangled. And it's money for the city of Cleveland that needs it desperately. And it ain't the worst city. It's pretty good down here. Take a look at Detroit. Take a look at Youngstown. Take a look at Lorraine. You want to see true poverty? It ain't in Chicago. It sucks being in Chicago, and they can't find 20,000 replacement men that want to build buildings. That was the story last week. They're having a hard time finding skilled workers, men. As there's 42 million shortages of jobs, they can't find workers that are skilled enough to build a fucking building, that can't swing a hammer or can't lift a shovel, because everybody thinks they're going to be DJs. Going to be a DJ or in a strip club. That's their dream. They're going to write code and make videos. Every kid now thinks he's going to write code and make videos. He doesn't want to get behind a mill and make a fucking widget at $27 an hour, or doesn't want to swing a hammer and do an honest day's work. Did that a long time. Wore out my body, wore out my soul. Some new pictures of Saturn out there. That's what's in the news. Mostly garbage, mostly stupid shit. A couple murders. No one wants to talk about real things, why it's happening. No one want to talk about Black Lives Matter. No one want to talk about white men's lives matter, because they all think we're the man. They look at me and they say, oh, he must be the man, that evil effigy of the man. No, I'm struggling sometimes too. I don't have a whole lot of money in the bank. I have kids to take care of. Half my life was someone tapping shit out of me, was pulling cash out of my ass like a fucking ATM. I was that slave for 17 years. I didn't have it any better. I wasn't Donald Trump. I wasn't that top 10%. Some little girl was sticking her hand up my ass and pulling cash out whenever she wanted, because she was a baby mama. And back to that, we'll digress back to the baby mama simp factories are pumping out simps, white knights, and manginas at a super rate. At a phenomenal rate. And killing our society, because they don't know the difference between an egalitarian society and a capitalist society. That's for women over there. We take care of our women. We're always taking care of our women. But if I give you a hand, don't bite my arm. I don't want to see women in shops. That's the most disgusting thought that I ever thought about in my life. Walking into a mill or a textile mill and seeing a woman there sweating. Ugh, the smell alone repulses me. The thought alone of that smell repulses me. I want them happy off in some apartment making babies and being happy, and leaving the men alone so we can make our babies and be happy. And this society goes on. The replacement rate right now is about 1.9. We need it at 2.4. It's falling, it's dropping. It's going to be at 1.6, 1.3, 1.2 soon. And our society's dying. Some people say we're devolving. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I think we're shedding the stupid ones. We're going from, what was it, Cro-Magnon? We're going through that stage again, where we're shedding the ones that don't understand, the stupid ones. The ape men, sitting up in a tree, want to fuck everything. Teamer game food, don't eat like knob gamer food. Jay is this is the same guy from last night with Please, everybody, go troll this Teamer Game Food knob. This is the same guy that came in last night, and don't eject him because he will say the stupidest things in the whole world. There it is, the stupidest comment in the whole world. Please tell me who Michael J. Crandall is, you idiot. I have no fucking idea. Last month, some girl around the corner, some girl in the next town over was running a daycare. She was some big fat girl that was taking naked pictures of little boys. She was a pedophile. It happens all the time. Please tell me who this Michael J. Fuck is. I don't care because there's bigger issues and you're a fucking knob. Did you fail to realize that 50% of the crime is being committed by women now? Is that your argument? Did you fail to realize we have 42 million baby mamas pumping out simp factories? You probably came from one of those simp factories, you knob. Did you fail to realize that? Did you fail to realize that, you knob? You stupid man? You idiot? You guy that just got ejected. Oh, look at that. It was so easy. I just ejected him. What a knob. What an idiot. Can't, come on. I'm not going to allow you on my podcast so you can be a knob, so you can be a white knight mangina bitch. We are talking about you. You idiot. And I feel sorry for you because you were born and raised in a single baby mama simp factory that produced a useless male. And I feel sorry for you. And I feel sorry for all your faggot little friends and your that can't lift a hammer, that have no idea how to make something. They have no idea how to use a tool because you never had a father around you that taught you how to do that taught you any skill in life. I'm sorry for the boys that are being produced now that have no skill, that dad never taught them how to fix their bike, and mom just bought them a new bike, and the old bike ended up in the garbage, along with all the skill that it would take, all the skill that could have been learned about how to fix a simple bike. And that rolls down to how you're going to fix everything in your life. A car, how you're going to be a stoic male. And he's back with this same stupid message because that's what he does. That's what he does. Ben Volcaster, you have the right to kick that guy out every single time he shows up, and I wish my viewers would figure out who that guy was. And look, Jay Face, he comes back for a third time. He's got 100 different bullshit avatars. He's got 100 different bullshit avatars, and he's a keyboard warrior. He's probably a from fat Hannibal the Victor child molester. There he is. He got a pink avatar now because that's what he is. He's a pink man. Oh my. Shit, can't you do it? Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm ejecting him as he comes in. That's the kind of male we get in this society. We get that kind of male. He's irritating. He's irritating. He's probably homosexual. He's probably homosexual, yeah. He's probably very upset about being raised by a single baby mama. He's probably very upset about that because that was his designation in life, like TFM says. I don't care. I don't care, man. Your designation in life is a single simp white knight mangina that was raised by a single maybe baby factory in that single baby simp farm that's producing men like you. Oh my God. Oh my Lord. Look at this man. He's tenacious at being retarded. He's a tenacious retard. And that's what we have. These white knights, these simps, these manginas, these men of low character, gamer team food from anti-gamergate. That come around here that don't understand Mgtow, don't understand being a man, don't understand nothing in life. He has big problems. Of course he's mad. Of course he's mad. He's showing he's mad because that was his designation. His mom was a whore. Oh, I hit that special spot, didn't I, there? His dad ran off because he couldn't take it. Because he couldn't take it. And now he's here flooding my cherished space with stupid comments because he doesn't have an actual comment on his own. He has nothing more than a copy and pasted. It's probably Alex Brown, for Christ's sakes. The copy and pasted retard. That's okay. We can do this all day, and I'll continue talking about the subject I wanted to talk about. What was the acid test for men? You can't debate. You have shown no ability to debate. You have little brain cells that are fucking depleted because you just can't debate. You have no idea how to debate. Look at your actions, man. Look at your actions, man. You just showed yourself to be a childish boy. And you want to come on this show where men are? You want to come on my show? I have nothing to gain by bringing you in here because you're a child. You're one of those mangina childs that never grew up, that have nothing to say. Please, leave a comment there with something to say. Please, say something logical. What a moron. Is that the extent of your argument? I said I've talked here for an hour and a half, very cohesively, very coherently, with a little style and a little bit of myself. Autistic fat shit. Really? Is that the extent of your argument? I hear that every day. They call that me every day because I called their mother a whore. And I was right. His mother is a whore. I'm not going to invite him to speak in because he's an idiot and he'll just share the link. The first thing he'll do is share the link with 1,000 little of his mangina friends. They all sit around and blow each other because, it's the rat experiment. It's the mouse experiment. That's what the mangina mice do. When the females start acting like that, they hump on each other's legs. And then the Mgtows rise above. They go and they just comb their hair and shit. Look down on them. Yeah, he'll just go away. I'm scared to debate. You should be scared to debate because he has Asperger's. That's what I was saying. He has Asperger's disease. He's one of those people that the genetic diversity got too close because mama wanted to fuck the top 10%, and you can't keep fucking the top 10% or the genetic diversity gets too close, and then all she's producing is little retards. God, I'm glad I'm only second generation in this country. And there's still some diversity left, which made me a very attractive male. I have 3 kids. 6 kids if you count the overseas kids. I was fucking like crazy back then when I was in the army. But debate me. You're not worthy of a debate. You're not worthy of being in my presence, man. You're not that smart. You have said nothing. You have earned nothing. You're nothing. You're a part of the simp baby mama factory. You have earned nothing on this show. You have not earned a right to come on this show. You have not earned a right to be a man. That's what we're talking about here. That's what we're talking about. Earning the right to be a person in Mgtow, not just a worker, not just a utility. Having a skill. I mean, if I brought in every idiot that ever wanted to argue with me, there would be thousands of idiots around here with 86 IQs trying to project their problems on the world. That's what they do. They irritate everything and everybody around them. They have no skills. They're leeching off their mothers. That's their special skill in life, being able to copy and paste something on the computer. Their special skill is sex. Their special skill is, that's their special skill in life. Yeah. That's the only thing he knows how to do, because he just admitted that he was an autistic man. We got a lot of them autistic. We got Immortal. He's probably one of the Immortal crowd. Alex Brown, just pro male, is one of those autistic kids. He's a product of the baby mama simp factory and the genetic diversity being too close. See how fast I do that? You're out of here. I'm very good at it. He has to go make new accounts. I don't know how many accounts can you have? 50, 60? Eventually we'll go through all those accounts. I wish someone would do this for me, but because he's a knob, and he knows he's a knob. I'm talking about Team Gamer Food. Your gay buddy. Let's talk about something. I'm just going to move on. You guys take care of him. I'll give King of all Mgtows the hammer. Oops, I went to his page. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'll give one of you guys the hammer. How about Veritech Ace? You want the hammer, Veritech Ace? I'll give you the hammer. Oops. And you can take care of this idiot. I'm going to set Veritech Ace as moderator. Veritech Mace is now the moderator. Hey, man. Who do we have in the room today? We have 212 Sparks. We have Autonomous Male. We have Badass Dan. Love that name. We have Howard Dare. We have James Denton. We have Midnight Johnny. We have King of all Mgtows, Mgtow Oracle, Noah, and all our favorites. Team Gamergate, Team Gamergate, Team Gamergate, Team Gamergate. Hashtag skill Team Gamergate. We have Timothy Blades. We have Warhorse. A lot of my favorites. One of my unfavorite. Yeah. Hello, men. Hello, Nuke Proof. What do you guys want to talk about today? You want to talk about simps and manginas and baby mamas? You want to talk about simps, manginas, and baby mamas? Like dogs? Because that's what they are. It's a product of artificial selection if you haven't been following my videos. Today is the celebration of my 600th video. I like that. I never thought I'd make 600 videos. I never wanted to be Sandman. He got a lot of videos. What a tenacious man he is. Muhammad Ali died. It's sad. That's sad. I hated when they rolled him out in that wheelchair and he was doing his little jerk and twitch at Florida Stadium that they just built. And I seen Muhammad Ali sitting out there, half the man, a quarter of the man that he used to be. Sooner or later, they'll do that to Jim Brown. They'll roll him out and say, "Here's Jim Brown, a quarter of the man he used to be." They'll do that LeBron James. They'll roll him out in that wheelchair, twitching, not being able to talk. Here's LeBron James, a quarter of the man that he used to be. But that's what happens. Life's linear. We're born, we learn things, and we die. And most of the time, we're just dying as we do it. Muhammad Ali did some great things in his life. He was a great man. He gave us one of my favorite all-time terms. What is that? I float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. What a charismatic person he was. What a charismatic person Muhammad Ali was. Mike Tyson was equally as charismatic. I love that guy. Cried when he lost to Buster Douglas. I cried. The tear rolled out of my eye. You know why I cried? Because I had paid $68 to watch the the event, and then he lost, and then my little tear rolled out, and I thought, Jesus, I could have bought a keg of beer and had a kegger. I think back at that time, you could have got a keg of Miller Lite for $68. I'm dating myself now. I think it's 200. Is it $200 now for a keg? Anybody know that question? $250 plus deposit, I think now. Wow. Thank you, presidents. Thank you for taking care of our economy where our beer prices have doubled, our food prices have doubled. I suppose we will get some detractors that say Muhammad Ali was Muslim, and they hate him for that. The bigots. How about we talk about Michael Crandall's daughter, who was taken in the Child Protective Services? Did Child Protective Services protect the person, or did it just put her in harm's way? That's what you got to ask. Was Child Protective Services involved in that whole event? Did Child Protective Services fail us? Yes, they did. We're paying 200-300 people from Child Protective Services that were supposed to regulate the events and citizens' lives, so bad people don't do those things, but they often fail us. We have useless female gynocentric institutions that constantly fail us, and then we blame it on the microcosm, the simple man or the simple woman. Last week I told you there was a woman around the corner that raped a whole bunch of babies and took pictures of them and was selling them on online. She was a pedophile. Nobody wanted to talk about her. Michael, there's millions of these people. Half of them are females. Half of the child molesters are females. We get articles every day about teachers raping boys, and 4 or 5 last week, 4 or 5 this week. Teachers that are entrusted with authoritarian positions that are raping little boys in their schools. But you want to talk about one incident? Well, that Steph Fosoya guy, he was a real moron. He has no skills except for copying and pasting. His skills in his life is playing with his wiener and copying and pasting. Them are not skills, son. Sorry to tell you that. Go to college, become a better person. Don't let that simp mama, that simp farm that you were raised in, shove you down, because I do not believe in blank slate theory. Does anybody want to talk about blank slate theory? I wish I had Messenger in here right now, because we would talk about blank slate theory. This is a product of blank slate theory. He's a product, they say he's a product of his environment. He's a product of autism. Autism is probably a product of the environment in a different, more mechanical way. But they say if you take a boy and you put him in, let's talk about blank slate theory. When you pull out a baby, what do you say? The first thing you say is he a man or is he a woman? Is he a boy or is he a girl? Does the nurse say, I think he's a little red truck? No, she doesn't say that. She says, is he a man or is he a woman? The idea from there comes on, he's a blank slate. And to a better part, if you're looking at Jung's cognitive conscience and a cognitive collective of what he's going to become in life, he would become the parts and the pieces of everything he learns in life. And that's blank slate theory. And he says if he lives in an environment of single mama baby factory with no father around, that's what he will become. He will become a product of the single baby mama factory. But we see with Mgtow, a lot of these men are rejecting the single mama baby mama factory that are producing simps and manginas. And they're saying, no, I'm going to be a Mgtow. And that makes them mad, because blank slate theory didn't work, because somehow blank slate theory produced a Mgtow, a cognitive being that thinks about his existence and thinks about himself as a man, not as a product of blank slate theory that'll fall onto the welfare roll, have a few baby himself, and those baby mamas will regenerate the poverty, and then it becomes a cycle in people's lives. And I'm not saying that that happens a lot, but Mgtow's the reasonable male fighting back against that. Mgtow is the reasonable male that wants a decent human being, that wants to produce a decent human being, that wants to produce a decent male that has worth and value and sees himself as good. But this single mama, baby mamas, they want to sit around, watch daytime TV, and laugh at men's penises. The Sharon Osbourne show, the degenerates, that's all they think about. How to produce more babies, how they can tap the system, how they can live for free. Sharon Osbourne's never done anything, and she never wrote a single song. She leeches off of her husband that had phenomenal skills. That's all she is. That's all she ever was. Some fat girl, some little fat girl that he thought was the Nawalt unicorn, then found out, like most of us find out, that she's nothing more than a single baby mama, that all her skill in life is to be able to copy and paste, which is talking. That's her skill in life. She never produced a single product for a community in her life. She never produced a single widget. She never produced a single orange or apple that you see at your markets. And you see, let's talk about that a little. How does that food get into that market? It starts with a plow. It starts with a farm plow or a seed. Somebody made that. A man made it. I've never seen a woman in a farm plow factory. Worked for one for 6 years. Never seen a woman that could take job. We tried to bring women in. They kept passing out, hitting their heads on the floor from the heat. They couldn't do the work. They couldn't lift the steel. Steel's very heavy. And then that farm plow hits the dirt. And then the farmer has to change that out in the field. It becomes a very dangerous job. Many farmers lose their lives every year changing plows in the field. And then it goes to a distribution system after it grows. All men. Every one of these men are men. That's who's feeding the country. Men. That's who's building the buildings. Men. That's who's building those bridges. Men. Very dangerous work. That's who's cutting down the trees and making these houses. Men. Sharon Osbourne has one skill. and being able to copy and paste what she hears. Just like this idiot that was in here. His only skill is to be able to copy and paste and mimic what he hears. It's interspecific human mimicry is what it is. Interspecific human mimicry. They mimic what they see. They don't have no brains, no skill to make anything, to build anything, to do something beautiful like men every day do in factories all around this country and steel mills with hammers and forges that beat plows into swords and swords back into plows. Does anybody know the theory about that, swords and plows? What Ben Franklin was saying about swords and plows? We fight with these swords and then we beat them into plows so we can till the fields. So our sons can be farmers. So their sons can be artists. So their sons can be free men. That's why we did that. That's why we do that as men. But we never can seem to get past the war of building swords. Because basically the industrial war machine likes that era to live in. 200 years of America here, 216 years, so more of America. So we can still be at war now because men don't understand, because we're still pruning the herd. That never worked. It never did work. Now we're producing autistic children at the rate of 30% of birth rates. We're tying boys to chairs in schools and sending them to schools with fences around them because no one understood that men need to play games. They need to learn how to learn math from basketball and baseball, and they need to get out and run, or else you end up with fat little male children sitting behind computers and doing what the copy and paste skill guy was doing. That's his special skill in life. His special skill is masturbating and copy and pasting. Just like every woman I've ever known, their special skill was masturbating, fucking, and copy and pasting or running their mouths. That's the only skill they ever had in life. It's the only skill that they ever had. They don't understand. They don't understand tech. They don't understand math. They don't understand science. They're not building things. Even if they do go through those programs, you're not going to find them in steel mills actually doing the work. You're not going to find them in you don't find them. They have to fuck their way to the top in Gamergate. That was that about. She had to fuck her way to the top and make this awful game called Depression Quest, which no one bought. And then everybody went nuts because it was ridiculous. She screwed a bunch of guys to get good reviews so she can make an awful game which no one bought. And now Nita Sarkeesian makes money off of complaining about copy and paste skills. Just like this guy's doing here. He's a useless male. He has no skills. His special skill is copy and pasting. In life, he's an autistic male. He admitted to be an autistic male. He's a product of low diversity. The genes got too close and they made a retard. And that's his special skill. In life, he thinks it's a skill. He thinks playing with his wiener and copy and pasting is a skill, like every other woman thinks, like every man that's been produced in a baby mama sim factory thinks. His special skill is to copy and paste and play with his wiener. I like the analogy my friend gives. He says, damn Ford. And I said, why damn Ford? And he says, damn Ford, because they made the child-proof windows, because this idiot would have fell out the child-proof window if it wasn't there. He was the child that was going to fall out. Sometimes I go, oh, that's horrible. But sometimes I think, oh, man, the stupid ones are falling out of the windows in the cars. And we should never have made the child-proof window. It's just pruning the herd before you have to go to war. The stupid ones will fall off of cliffs like lemmings. The stupid ones will drown in a pool. He'll jump in not knowing he doesn't know how to swim. That's this guy here. He's a stupid one. He's a copy and paste playing with his wiener kind of guy. He has no special skill. He never learned how to fix his bike. He can't do anything in life. He has no cognitive functions where he can do anything else. That's what we're talking about. The Manginas, the White Knights, the simps from the simp farms. And that's the problem. That's what we talk about here all the time. That's what we talk about on these shows. What special skills do you have? What did you go to college for? What do you do in life? What do you do to make things happen? Are you the mover and shaker in your neighborhood? Are you that Mgtow? Are you in your garage making the next best invention in the world? I know a couple of these guys. I know James Denton is. I know I go out in my garage. I know I have some skills. Used to have a lot more skills until my wife tried to kill me. I was an electrical engineer. I loved to build machines, big, huge machines in factories. That was my thing. I was a millwright, electromechanic. I loved doing that. I had a special skill that all of America got to use. At a certain point in your life, when I worked for Mobil Oil, when you put that can of oil in your car, Joe had something to do with that. It's called working for the community. That food got on your grocery stands because Joe made plows for a while. It's a skill, not a copy and paste skill. Like, just try to ignore him because that's his thing in life. So what is your special skill? What is your thing you do as a Mgtow? Throw away all that garbage from the baby mamas. Throw away all that preconditioning that you learned in school. Don't be the protector provider. Don't make babies. And then you got some time for yourself where you can build a house. You can build anything you want. You know what I'm doing lately? You know what? I bought a book. I'm going to start building a boat in my garage. You know why? I don't know why. Because I'm just going to do it. It's fiberglass boat building. I'm going to learn how to build a boat in my garage in my spare time. That's what I do. In my garage. Because I'm a Mgtow, I own my own house. Because I didn't have some bitch for the last 7 years taking everything I owned. And in a short period of time, I rebuilt my life being a Mgtow. It's a testament to Mgtow. It's a testament to Mgtow. You getting a boat, Johnny Bill Knight? I want a big boat. Me and my son have been talking about moving to Australia. He wants to move to Australia. I'd like to move to Australia too. I think there's some open farmland there still ready to be farmed. I think there's a little bit of work that needs to be done there. I think we ran out of room in America for men, either Brazil or Australia. You sound like, we got the bigots in now. We got the bigots in. How many blocks was it? There has to be at least 50 blocks. Sooner or later, he'll run out of avatars. And I don't know what the percentage is before YouTube catches up to him and kicks all of his accounts off. But they will. Oh, he brought in a Michael J. Crandall. That's cute. But we're going to sell this house soon. Again, I'm going to move again, get rid of all my stuff again because I'm bored. I'm bored in life. I'm bored with this world. I'm bored with the simps. I'm bored with the white knights. I'm bored with the baby mamas. I'm bored with paying for all that. I'm going to go buy a farm and disappear, either in Brazil or Australia. I'm kind of shooting for Australia. I think I'd like to take a boat around Australia just for a few years, like that other guy is doing. He lives on a boat. I was thinking about that. My son wants to buy a big boat and then sail across. We'd have to sail down to Florida and then sail across. It'll be a perilous journey, I'm sure. I don't really know what I'm doing with that. I am Irish, so I have some skills with, the sea. I don't get sick or anything, but that's what I was thinking about doing. And it's going to take a little work. It's going to take a little, gumption, some man gumption to do it. But I think we're going to do it, and I'm going to disappear for a while. Maybe at the end of this year, I don't know. But I'm sick of people like this guy that's in here. He's most likely, he is autistic. He admitted that he was autistic. So why would I bring an autistic kid in that can't? He's probably got Down syndrome. He can't talk. YouTube's full of them. So I've talked about an hour and 31 here. Unless I can get somebody in to actually talk to. We're going to end this today. We'll probably have another one about 4 o'clock usual. We'll come back and have another one. We'll talk about Simpson manginas again, so they can show up and be Simpson manginas like they do. You want to come in, James? I'll let James in. Okay. James Denton. Let's bring in James Denton. James, one of my favorite persons in the whole world. I love James. James made me some part. I bought a little grinder today. I bought a new rotary tool today that I was using this morning. I love my rotary tool. So I was using that this morning. It was cheap. It was like $15. It's the one with the 2 pickups on the side that you change them out after they go bad. And then the tool in itself just kind of ages well. I was using that out in the garage this morning. I was working on my van. I know Timothy Blades likes that. He's got a big ass truck in his garage he was working on. Love to see that when it's done. I've got a van in my garage. It's a great van. It's an old, not an old one. It's like a 2004 3500. I'm putting a business into it, and that's what I do. I sell things. I sell businesses. That's how I make my money. It goes with my 2 men in a van theory. But that's what we're doing now. Top Dollar, how's your sound? I can send you an invitation, but your sound's got to be good.
All right, let's see. How's my audio?
Your audio's good, James. You sound good.
All right, I just fixed everything. All right, well, I think with regards to the new spammers that are emerging, I've been here for all the podcasts, but I now primarily sit in the background and I listen and try not to make any comments unless this kind of thing occurs.
Yeah.
We should be expecting these types of spammers to emerge more and more as Mgtow gains more and more people and becomes better and more so spread throughout the network and YouTube.
Yeah, they're gonna display their hate towards us.
Right. This is just the beginning. So you guys should all be ready for this. Now the thing is, this is just chat room, right? I mean, the actual podcast is protected because only those people can join it who have been invited.
Yeah.
So as long as the podcast members they ignore the spammers, those people, the spammers, they cannot really disturb or derail any of the conversations. So next time that this happens, admins, please just ban them, block them, and people who are in the podcast just ignore them completely, because then it's like they don't even exist, and no time will be spent on discussing them, whatever it is that they are saying.
Yeah, they kind of prove our point, so we leave them around for a little bit to prove our point, because that's all they are, is irritating little trolls, and that proves our point. what they are. They prove what they are in that way.
Indeed. So, Joe, remember
Yeah.
there have been numerous occasions when we have discussed that perhaps one day we'll do some kind of entrepreneurial discussion.
Yeah.
Well, we might as well do it now.
Yeah, we can do that now. I was just started to talk about what I do and how I remove myself from society and working for people and what I do. And I know what you do, how we can apply that to lives. There's different ways and different skill sets that we have that we can apply to our lives, because that's what we are. Finding out what we are to begin with is very important. A lot of boys aren't figuring out what they are in life, are they?
No, they don't. Now, the thing is, today, right, it's not completely necessary, and Third Flinging Monkey has already noted this, that you don't really need to get a PhD or a master's in computer science to be very gainfully employed in the field. Programming is one of the only skill sets that will be surviving the machinization of the entire field. As you know, we're currently moving completely towards getting rid of more and more jobs that are more physical, and more jobs becoming, the cubicle jobs, the programming jobs, engineering, and so on. Now, programming, unlike engineering, with hardware engineering and so on, can be learned by simply reading material on the internet.
Yeah, you can do that. The analogy I always gave with the programming jobs and the more tech skill jobs is even if you're a maintenance man or a guy that's running the machine, you can easily learn how to be the programmer of the PLC. Like if you have a welder, an automatic welder, there's still two jobs on the floor that needs to be done. Someone's got to feed the welder and someone's got to take off the welder. So those jobs aren't going anywhere. We still haven't brought over automatic tech. Nothing. You still have to feed the parts on there, and you still have to pull the parts off. The welder will do the work automatically, and you can program the welder. But now you've added another job. You've added the programmer, and you've added a maintenance man that needs to know how to do those settings on the PLC.
Right.
So it didn't take away from the job; it added to the job.
Right. Also, for example, when many of you out there probably are wondering, well, okay, so I'm going to learn how to program on my own using online resources, but how am I going to compete with somebody who has a master's degree or bachelor's degree if I learned everything on my own? But the way to do this is actually, when people are hiring in this particular field, they pay much more attention what kind of projects you have contributed to. So there are open source websites out there where you can put your source code in. So for example, GitHub is a very popular one. SourceForge.com is another one. So when you're learning your programming language, you're going to be doing little projects, building little programs and big programs. Put everything that you're building on GitHub. Put everything that you're building on SourceForge. And when you're applying for this particular job, if you're self-taught in this field, right? List your accounts, your GitHub and your SourceForge accounts on your resume, because people who are hiring, they primarily look at those particular fields, whether you have hands-on experience. So somebody who has actually, built something in real life and has a source code to demonstrate, and you do so, like I said, by putting everything on GitHub or SourceForge, has a much greater chance of being hired than somebody who's fresh out of college, because people who are fresh out of college, majority of them with a bachelor's degree in computer science or electrical engineering even sometimes, but although electrical engineering crowd is a little bit more talented, but the bachelor's degree in computer science, they don't usually know much. 99%, they're just getting the degree, just going through the courses, and then they get out and that's it. But if you have that account, if you have proven yourself with those projects that you have shared on SourceForge and GitHub, you will have a higher chance of being hired.
Yes, what you're really doing in essence is you're providing your own criteria for your hiring. I did this with one of my maintenance jobs. Is I wrote a book on maintenance. It was a small 200-page book on how to do the jobs. It was about how to maintenance apartments and how to do the logistics of that. how to keep your parts on stock and everything. And when I went to apply for a large job, it was a GSA government job, I had my criteria already there. I said, here's what I do, here's what I've done. And yes, I was more likely to get hired. So in essence, what you were doing is you're just providing your own criteria for that. You don't have to ask these other people to provide it for you. You make your own.
Right. Joe, it looks like top dollar Mgtow Gangster is in the chat. Can you send him an invite?
Okay. We were going through it this week with his sound. I was wondering if his sound is okay.
Sound is great.
His sound.
Oh.
That's the only excuse me. That's the only concern I was having this week. I was trying to talk to him enough where we can get his sound together where it was podcast worthy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd love to have him in. I'll invite him in, but I got to make sure it sounds okay, or else it's
right.
It's
another thing
one of the
with computer science projects, and the reason I'm discussing computer science is because programming, web development, and so on. These are the jobs that are right now exploding, while other fields are in many ways contracting because everything is becoming computerized, right? So another thing, if you are going to be self-taught with regards to programming languages, keep in mind, especially that a lot of the stuff can be outsourced, but the only things that are being taught in China and India are standard programming languages, such as C and Java. Right, but right now, Silicon Valley and many other places, as new programming languages, specialized programming languages are popping up, are hiring these specialists in different programming languages, such as the Go programming language, which was developed by Google, or for example, Python is another good programming language that a lot of companies are looking for. The R language is good for statistics. So if you want to, for example, become a quant, that is a programming language you might want to familiarize yourself with. Another one is the Julia programming language. This is also very popular in the Silicon Valley. It's one of those new emerging languages that is not taught in India or China. So you can learn it, and you will not be outsourced. Now, all of these programming languages you can learn on your own, and because the competition is so low, because these programming languages are not taught in our universities either, you will have a huge advantage. So look for those niches, and you will be able to get employed with extremely well-paying positions. I mean, we're talking about $80,000 and up if you're good at what you're doing. And like I said, you learn that language, you make your projects, you put them on GitHub. That's github.com. or SourceForge, and you list it on your resume when you apply, and you will find a position, and it will not be outsourced.
Okay, I just sent top dollar. I think it's the right top dollar. It was it just says top dollar on his thing, and that's the only one I have to send out. So I sent that one to him. I hope that was the right one. We do have trolls, and I have to worry about who I send out to, because we have a troll that goes by Shining Light, and he's like another Shining Light, and they're always trying to get in so they control us inside the room too. But did Veritech, did you ban top dollar?
Well, top dollar Mgtow Gangster is the real one. Top dollar is a fake one.
Oh, top dollar is the fake one. Yeah, see, that's what I have to worry about, sending out to the fake ones.
I think you just invited a troll, Joe. Hopefully not. Well, if he comes in, you'll have to ban him as quickly as possible, because I'm pretty sure he's going to start screaming something.
Yeah, he'll probably start screaming something. Yeah, it was the picture of the guy he uses that I invited, the avatar of the guy he uses. Who is that guy in that movie that he uses?
That's the guy from The Crow.
Yeah. Okay. I used that the avatar with that on it, so I hope that was the right
one. Yeah.
But these trolls are tricky. They'll use like a similar one, or they'll change one single letter, and then I won't see that, and it's like, darn, I can't send the HTTP out to his private account, and that's probably.
Now, James Conrad is making a bunch of comments. James, Conrad, I'm not talking about learning programming language that no one uses. I'm talking about the programming languages I have just listed. I can personally tell you because I am one of the people who hires individuals, right? And I am from Silicon Valley. I had many positions there, finishing my PhD now. I have my startup. I have patents. I have books on programming languages. And I'm telling you, the languages I've just listed are being looked for because I constantly get recruitment letters, right, for 150,000 and up because of my skill set in one of the languages I've listed. So no, those languages, they're not some poorly known languages. Those are very popular languages within the Silicon Valley, which are not taught in other countries. So, another position is technical writing. Technical writing is also a great job, pays well,
Writing, yeah.
but it cannot be outsourced because you cannot outsource something like that to India or China. So there you have it.
Yeah, that's yeah, writing in itself is a skill. If you can do at home, you see a lot of writing courses, and when you start technical writing, that's a real skill. Uh, that's something. There's just a whole bunch. I sent Top Dollar in his private messages. I don't know if he knows how to get there, but I sent him one in his private message. Hopefully, the HHTP link won't get out there, and we won't have to go through that horror like we did last night. Did you watch that last night?
I have not. I don't even watch TV anymore. I'm right now just primarily concentrating on research.
Oh no, with the RPG, had all these trolls. The link got out, and then the same trolls came in and started spamming us terribly last night. So it ended the podcast because the HHTP got out to the public somehow. So that's a problem. If that happens, I'll just shut down and restart. We'll get a new HHTP. So I'm pretty good at this. So I sent that to Top Dollar in his private messages, and hopefully he'll get that. And I love talking to the guy. He's a good cat. Good Mgtow monk. Love the Mgtow monks. Yeah, there's a lot of jobs in life that you've got to take control of that job. One of the ones I did after I left industry is I was still in industry. And what I learned is one specific skill. And we all have one specific skill that we do the best, better than anybody else in this whole world. And that specific skill was I fix furnaces, not little furnaces, not furnaces in your house, but big furnaces. Steel mill furnaces. That's what I do. I fix steel mill furnaces and the electrical programming and everything. They have a lot of PLCs, and I learned that one thing very well. And it was just reading a few books, doing that, talking to the people in the business. Tell them, I'm your guy. I'm the guy. I've done this in industry. So I took that and I created my own credentials. And then when they'll call me, this was the amount you're going to pay per hour for me to come there and do that, because nobody else in the world can do that. There's very few guys in every city that can do that. So I specialized in the skill. Now, when you look around, and the specialized thing is, I always give the analogy of when you look around a Home Depot, you see the guys hanging around front of the Home Depot that are just trying to get those jobs. But please walk into Home Depot and look around. You see 1,000 different things that you can do. There's 1,000 different jobs there that you can learn. Most of the jobs, like drywall or building construction things, or the tools that you use, have a specific job along with that. Hanging doors, stuff like that. You can learn how to hang doors probably within a month, and go out to every apartment building, every home in your neighborhood. Someone's going to need a door. I used to take 3 doors and throw them in the back of my van. I used to take a 32, a 36, and a 34-inch door, throw it into my back of my van, and I would sell them at $360 profit each door. And it was just one of those little things I do. You specialize in a lot of little things in life. Is that Top Dollar I'm seeing?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, let me turn up your volume a little bit. I could do that in my control room. I do have a control room in this podcast.
Oh, please do. Please do.
Okay, and we can turn up your volume a little and get you a little more volume, top dollars in, and yep, I can
You guys
rate
hear me
that.
now?
Okay, okay. Uh,
How about now?
yeah, I can hear you. So what's up? Well, how's your week been
Um,
going?
oh, I've been very busy, guys. I've been very busy. But it's all good. It's all good. I see you guys talking about programming.
Yeah, we're talking
Hello?
about you know, not being that guy that's you can specialize in skills and you don't have to have what you need to do is decide what you want to be in life and then go be it, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just follow whatever your heart is in, man. Just
Yeah,
just
whatever
go
wherever
for
your
it.
heart. Some guys just want to, clean bathrooms and start a business cleaning, but that's okay if that's your thing in life. If you want to bake coffee or make coffee and sell coffee, that's okay to be that guy. As long as you specialize in that and you can do it better than all the rest of the people in the world. And you can specialize in any skill. You look around your house, your neighborhood, your Home Depot, your building center. You know, you could buy a tractor and be that guy that runs a tractor every day and do it for yourself. You don't have, and that's just a few small skills away. Most people don't want to jump and hurdle those few small skills. But you can learn about how to do anything on the internet.
Yeah, many people, they're just looking for instant gratification. I mean, they don't realize that you have to go step by step. And I'm one of those people who actually supports the idea of entrepreneurship, that you need to become as independent as you can be, but there is certain, road you need to take. You can't just become star overnight, which is really what's happening today. You got people becoming like celebrities overnight.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like he's just going to walk into a job. People think they're so special now that they're just going to walk into a job. Everybody's going to go, "Hey, you're here. It's you. You're so special." And that's the
Yeah,
all
roll out the
kick.
red carpet.
Yeah, the roll out the red carpet because it's you and you're so special. That's what girls think. That's the way women think. Uh, they're going to roll out the red carpet and you're just going to parade around and be so special. No, it doesn't work like that, and it shouldn't work like that. Uh, Jobs are merit based, and to get that merit, you have to have one skill that you do better than everybody else. One machine you can run better than everybody else because you understand that machine. For the guys in the tool and die trades, uh, that's not a hard process. My son just went
Yeah,
through that.
and as they say, jack of all trade is you really need to focus on just you need to have some enthusiasm about what you want to do. So you put your heart into that, and eventually you'll master it. But if you
Yeah,
do something you hate for all of your life, then you're never gonna even try to master it because you're hating it. Yeah.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but there are always the stages that you need to go through, even if you hate them, to get to that goal. And speaking of red carpet, you know what? I'm ready to pop my collar or roll a red carpet if somebody deserves it. You know,
Yeah, if someone deserves it.
I'm willing to do that, but don't expect me to do it. I don't know, just because if it's not based on any effort or any result.
Yeah, like James Dunn here does. He's been through the whole thing there. He can see that it didn't take all that much, and if he probably would have known that earlier in life how to do it, but he did it. He went through it. If there's little tricks of the trade that you learn as you're going on, and this thing was really more simple than everybody else thinks. They make everything too hard nowadays. They get people thinking about things that don't matter. You know, you're taking a gender studies course to become an engineer. What the fuck does gender studies have to do with that? All I want to do is become an engineer. I need to know math. I need to know structural steel, or I need to know electricity. and then I can become that. We're making things very, very difficult. But nowadays, with the the internet, like Marcus the Metaphysical doing, he's going to start his own school where he can get a degree in philosophy. Uh, that's okay if you want to write books or be a writer. You can do that, and you can go learn it now, pretty much free. Take advantage of what you can do. The courses. I just did a course on business management. I wanted to buff up on those skills online. It cost me very little, uh, and went through it. It didn't amount to much, but I had a few extra skills in my pocket to it taught me a lot about how things work on the internet here too. Not that I'm great at that. What's that? I'm trying to read that ASA daydream code is for. Yeah, do you? I seen you got one of those trolls, top dollar, that look like you, that try to emulate you on the online. You got one of those guys that follow you around like that.
Is he still here?
Yeah. He's probably having some sound problems. So James, how's the printer working? I can hear it running in the background.
Yeah, I have it running 24/7 at this point. I'm pretty much just experimenting with every filament out there. Right now, I'm on carbon fiber reinforced nylon. So I need something that's rigid yet at the same time has the properties of nylon and chemical resistance for various applications. So that is basically what I'm working with right now. And as noted, let me know if you need something. I'll gladly can develop it and send it your way.
Yeah, James just made me a few clips for my bows, and they're great. That's what I was doing with my tool this morning. I was just kind of cleaning them up, and I bought a new tool. So I was, you have to use your new tool when you get it. And I was going to put it on what I needed was a tool head for I wanted to build a couple axes for some work I want to do in carving. And so I was going to build the x-axis and a y-axis and put my old computer to it, and so I needed a tool head for the top. So I bought this little rotary tool head, so it can. Now I got to figure out the switching and everything for that, and then I can have a carving tool in my garage that I can program stuff into. Very cool idea. My brother's dropping off some. He's going to drop me off some rails, so I can get the. Fix the rails to it and get the parts on there and start making things that I want to make. And it's just something I always wanted to do, and so I bought the little tool. I was fucking around with it this morning.
Another business, and you and I have already discussed this once, is of course reselling, where you can order directly from Chinese warehouses, websites like GearBest, Alibaba, Banggood, all of those places you can purchase things very cheaply and then directly sell it on Amazon, for example, or eBay. Some places like GearBest and Banggood.com, they even allow you to do drop shipping. Drop shipping means where you don't actually need to order anything until somebody purchased something from you, let's say on eBay, and then you purchase it directly on GearBest or Banggood, and they remove their company name and send it to the address that you specify. In this way, nobody even knows that you're simply reselling. And you can get things, at 50% the price of the actual thing that you're selling from places like that, from directly from China. So that's also a viable way to earn a living.
Right. Yeah. The more you sell, the lower the cost of the product is too. Like I always give the Home Depot contractor book. If you look in the first one is retail price, 10 is a slight wholesale price, and if I sell 100 of those products, like Moen faucets, if I put in 100 Moen faucets, I'm getting them. The original price was $78. If I sell 100 of those around my neighborhood, the price that I'm paying for them is like $32. So my profit, my $40 profit, is already the government and the way the business is figured out. Uh, I'm getting a $40 profit selling it at retail to every customer, plus I'm adding in some cost on it of a few hoses and an installation cost. So I'm making a pretty good price on that. But it all starts with buying more in bulk. Uh, and that's where these companies are really handy, because a lot of them will sell you like 1,000 pounds of something. If you're going to work for somebody today, please save about $6,000. Take that $6,000 and put it off to the side. And when you see that special product that you can get at $1 a pound or something, and it's usually about $5 a pound, there's your profit. And you start selling those. Your whole life's going to change, and you're going to have extra money flowing in, and you'll have to do sometimes you're going to have to pack them and ship them yourself, but packaging and shipping you charge for.
That's right. Also, when you purchase something from Alibaba or AliExpress, you can talk directly with the manufacturers. So, for example, you can take some kind of basic backpack. Yeah, something that sells for about $20 or $30, and they will sell to you for about $3. You can even specify what kind of logos you want or anything else. You put, yes, you will have to invest a little bit from the start, and then put it directly on eBay. Because if you put, let's say, a forged backpack on Amazon, your account will get closed because it's not real, it's a forgery. But if you put it on eBay, that's one way to do it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's very easy to start an Amazon account or an eBay account. It's just, it'll take you 20 minutes to start that account, and then you're selling right away. And that's how I buy most of my stuff anymore. I rarely go up to the Home Depot. When I can get something shipped to my house, open up the box in my living room and have that joy, I'd rather do that than having to put $5 of gas in the car, run down to and then still have to pay retail price on it. Most people use eBay now. Most people use Amazon now. Everything's taken care of. It comes right to your door. The mailman drops it off, and you get that happy smile. You want to be the guy selling those parts. You can do that with any part. It's not just one thing. Don't get. What I find is there's something in men that's functional fixedness. I call it functional fix. A lot of people call it functional fixedness. We think about things one-dimensionally. We never think about the whole on everything. And there's a lot of different. You're looking at one part, so like webcams or something like that. No, go look at a lot of different things. Look at speakers. Look at cups, coffee cups. Look at lighters. Look at nail clippers and stuff like that. And you're going to sell a lot of different. You can get 1,000 nail clippers delivered to your house at like 50 cents a piece and sell them for almost $6 a piece.
Right. Yeah. Or you can also you can build something like a CNC machine.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, if you got a skill like building.
Right.
That's where I was going recently with building the machine, a little carver. That people like old men would want to have in their garage so they can carve shit, but it does it automatically for you. You just hook it to a computer now, and you put in the program and it carves. If you can build that CNC machine, that little one for wood carving or something like that, be the guy.
Right. These days, building such things is not very expensive. You can follow various how-tos online. You can buy the motors and a few metal parts, and you can get the whole thing under $100. I know that because I've done that. So it's these days creating mass manufacturing systems is relatively affordable.
It's relatively affordable, and if you just do that,
and if I can add something to it.
Yeah, good.
If I can add something to it, I know the guy who actually became very, very good with cars. And what he did, he was just enthusiastic about, taking a car and, like that show, Pimp My Car. He was very enthusiastic about fixing some old cars that weren't good for shit anymore, but gradually he became very skillful. See what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's I see that a lot in my neighborhood.
Really massive. Yeah, purely out of, he was just enthusiastic and he just loves cars. So gradually he really became good at it, fixing cars, motors, and stuff like that.
Yeah, we have a Warhorse. Warhorse does that. You're used to do that. He's out of the business now. He retired, but he has a very good life. He owns his own house. He's made a very good living. He's lived a lot of life. with doing something he was passionate about, just working on cars. Every kid loves that, building a muscle
Exactly,
car.
exactly.
Yeah. Men have certain skills that women don't have, and one of the certain skills that women don't have is the ability to fix a car.
I think they just don't want to get their hands dirty, you
No,
know.
they don't want to get their hands dirty. They want to be doing that in some vat of, they don't want to be cleaning parts and parts cleaner and stuff like that. Men love that shit. Get in there, get greasy, get oily, get dirty.
Wait a minute. Guys, I got a good topic for you. I almost forgot. Shit. Johnny fucking Depp.
Oh, Johnny Depp, he's going through a
Did you hear
divorce
that?
now, isn't he?
Did you hear about the? Oh hell yeah, hell yeah! And after only like what 15 months of marriage, oh man, she's gonna take him to the cleaners. And I know that he was that fucking rich. Apparently, he's like his assets are the estimated value of $400 million.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So is
she's not
some.
gonna get she's not gonna get her hands dirty anytime soon. Man.
Oh no! So was that worth it for him? Some judge is going to hand some bitch that doesn't deserve it half of his wealth or something, and the men need to be will.
I don't think, but I don't think she's gonna have. I mean, the guy owns a fucking island now. Whether or not I believe that an actor should make that kind of money, that's a whole other discussion. But she's gonna get at least $20 million.
Yeah, that's what I was just looking. It says
At
20.
least
She's looking at $20 million for giving up a little ass.
a year and a half, even less than a year and a half.
Yeah, that's craziness. What judge in the world can justify that? Who can nobody can justify that kind of you know that kind of money for having no skills at all. Her only skill was showing up. Uh, but that's the system we work in
Well,
now.
she did manage to. Yeah, but she kind of, the one thing I do give her credit for, that she managed to pull her way, through the whole crowd of women that want to get down with him. So she managed to push her way in, but now he's gonna be taken to the cleaners.
Yeah.
I mean, it still isn't. Oh yeah, you know what you did? Uh, that's not the whole story. They both filed for divorce,
Yeah.
apparently, but she posted pictures on cruises, right? So of course she accused him of that. Now the reason I found that amusing is that one of my first videos, not for, I believe my first video that I made on YouTube was about this dude from here, from Southeast Europe, and it wasn't in English. The video wasn't in English, but exactly the same thing happened to him. He walked in on his wife fucking another dude, so he smacked her. And when I say, I don't mean like what the guy's name, War Machine did. I mean, War Machine, he was just out of his mind. But this guy just smacked her, and next thing you know, she posted a picture on the Instagram. And the guy I'm talking about, he's not an actor, he is TV host, but he's very, very popular. And the yellow press, the gossip press, they had a field day on his ass. They were like calling him out to be the worst man on earth. He's a bully. He's this and that. Even after the fact that he walked in on his wife fucking another dude, but she had a bruise on her face.
Yeah. They minimalized the part where she violated his trust and she violated the marriage and she violated every single man rule there is. But men aren't allowed to have rules about. You get married to assure that them things don't happen, and then on the other half they're saying no, the marriage wasn't about that. uh, they could do whatever women could do whatever they want. They're saying okay, well, men will start doing whatever we want too, and that's where Mgtow's coming on. Okay, if you guys want to, if they want to play that game, Mgtow can play that game very well. We're going to do exactly what we want, and guess what part of what we want is not paying for all the bitches.
I'm thinking maybe the gentleman in the room wants to join in on this.
Okay, James.
Yeah,
Yeah, do you have any thoughts about the Johnny Depp
Yeah,
thing?
I
do you
have no idea
would
about
you like
anything.
something to this or?
No, I don't follow anything
All
these
right.
days, so I have nothing to say.
Yeah. A lot of times with Mgtow, we just don't look at those things anymore because they just irritate us. We got no time for that stuff. With if the blue pill guys want to continue buying into the blue pill world, guess what's going to happen? They're going to pay for that. And uh,
Yeah,
MGTOW's
that's
about
true.
seven.
But the reason I found out, oh, sorry. Yeah, go on, please.
Yeah, they're going to pay for that, but they're dragging us in on those deals, and that's what we have to avoid in our life. We're not making those deals with women anymore. We're not going to do that. Well, we're keeping our money now. Uh, they'll try to find other ways to tap our wealth. I'm sure they'll try to find other ways to tap our wealth, but the more they do that, the more anxious men will get. The more honor will be instilled with men. It will become a you know it'll become an idea of mass theft in men's heads, and then they'll take to arms. Uh, Men will only take it so far, and then it'll become, well, we're going to fight.
Well, I don't know about that because you know what they say about the frogs, how you can boil them if you do it slowly enough.
Yeah, yeah, they're going to push it too far. I eventually think they're going to push it too far, and then we're going to have to make it stop. All countries go through this. All civilizations go through this, where the leaders in the civilization push things just a little too far, and then the citizenry says no, no more. And it's always the gender male. It's that's the only gender that can make things change. The females like the way it is in most cases, but when the male gender gets, and I think we are at that point where we're saying no, no more. No, we can't take this. It's the
Yeah,
straw.
but
What's gonna be the straw that broke the camel's back?
listen, rising only to complete the generalization of that particular society. You know, Romans didn't overthrow their emperors over the relationship. The reason why Roman Empire fell apart or separated, I should say, is because they degenerated so much that they really could not afford to sustain that kind of lifestyle anymore. I mean, there were increasing taxes to the provinces, and people in provinces,
Yeah,
they start their own rebellions, and they say, you know what, fuck this, we ain't we ain't paying you it anymore because it's too much. And little by little, that brought the society to a halt. There was no more money.
yeah, yeah. It's always the money's going to run out, and I think the money's going to run out rather quickly here. It doesn't mean that Rome in general disintegrated and went away. It just means that that portion went away of it. There was no more money to do that. The citizenry didn't suffer that much during that transition. Uh, uh, the governors did. The people that were tapping off of the system, they suffered a lot. That's you hear those horror stories about that. But them were the people that deserved to suffer because they were uh, they were the ones tapping the system. Uh, it won't be the transition everybody thinks it will be. The money's just going to dry up, and you're right about that. But the horror, these people are whiners. The horror that we're going to have to hear, the whining that we're going to have to hear, is going to be a great scream.
Oh yeah, we're gonna hear a lot of that. Yeah, yeah. But here's the thing: the reason I brought the subject up because after all, it's a celebrity, and it's
Yeah,
the story has its moral. Especially if you're some, if you're a guy, famous guy, plus the guy with money. You need to think twice before you actually marry someone that's old enough to be your daughter. I mean, this woman looks good, no doubt
yeah,
about that. But he had to like, okay, wait a second, I got so much fuck money. I got, there is an angle for every woman to get down with me. There is a and he, yeah. They didn't even have a prenup. Prenup isn't exactly something that will keep you safe, but He didn't even do that.
Yeah, he was just simping was what he was doing. He was simping, and then now the judge is going to give her a huge
Oh yeah,
payoff. If he does give her the huge payoff,
definitely.
I don't know. I don't think she deserves it. Uh, there's going to be a lot of proving on that point, whether she deserves it or not. I don't think she deserves it. You don't get.
Does a simp deserve to keep his wealth?
Does a simp deserve his wealth?
Yes, does a simp deserve to keep his wealth?
Uh, in one way, he should have known
Uh,
better.
all right.
But in another very legalistic sense or
Well,
a
to
very
me,
moralistic
excuse me.
sense, no, he doesn't deserve to lose his wealth because he made a bad decision. Uh, that's a very touchy subject there.
Let me just
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, what I think is, well, like I said at the beginning, I'm not sure if an actor should have that should make that kind of money. But I don't think he needs to, okay, I don't think he's gonna lose half of it. They only been in marriage like for a year and a half, but the point is, she's still gonna get paid. And let's say she wins like $20 million. I mean, that's a salary for a year and a half of work. If we can even call it work, all right. And I'm pretty sure she wasn't starving to death while she was married to the guy. I'm pretty sure she wasn't starving. I'm pretty, you know, either way, like I said, there's a moral to this, and there is like a cautionary tale that you
Well,
Yeah,
need to consider.
I completely actually agree with you with regards to that somebody who's an actor does not really should not be paid that much. But actually, the discussion we had about whether the simp deserves to keep his wealth, that's actually a very interesting subject. Should a simp, given that
Mhm.
the issues we're facing today are due to simps, the manginas, the pussy beggars, given that all the issues we're facing today with feminism and so on, given that it is these kind of, I don't really want to call them men, what should I call him? Let's say degenerates, let's just call them simps. Given that they are the ones who sold out their own gender and sold our entire nation for pussy,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I think they are getting exactly what they
Oh, I
deserve.
see where you're going with this. Okay.
Yeah, there should be a
Yeah,
punishment.
but let's be honest about it. They are not at the top of the food chain. And one thing I like to point out that, like they say, it's a Chinese saying, the fish, smells from the head. Basically, it's really the system that made certain things possible. And I agree with you. Yeah, it's pretty much a simplest behavior, if you want to call it that way. But it's really the system that allowed, uh, you know, for a guy who does one thing to make millions or hundreds of millions of dollars. On the other hand, there's a guy who's working his ass off 20, 30 years, and he can't even think about that kind of money. So I think it really comes from the top.
But what is the system? The system is not some kind of on its own autonomous setup. The system is composed of individuals. And who are those individuals? Well, they are simps. So again, the system you're talking about is again a system of simps.
Okay, what I'm talking about are actually it's actually being run by interest groups. And whether or not they're simps, I don't know, but I know they're in a position to push certain laws that play in their favor, you know. And I think that the whole structure of today's modern system is corrupted to the point that it will come down crashing at some point, because I think it's been completely, debased from nature. I don't think. I mean, I think it becomes so unnatural that at some point it will lose its foundation. Because how can you? Let me explain what I mean. Um, I already told you that there are people out there working like 10, 20 years, and they're really working, and they receive just a small amount of money compared to someone who is making millions and millions of dollars for basically not doing so much.
Right.
or not doing equal hard job.
Right.
And that disbalance, that is a very unnatural disbalance. You
Yeah,
know,
there it is.
there's no equilibrium there.
Yeah, I think
That's
that.
what I'm talking about. You know,
Yeah,
so
I think the farmer.
yeah,
Yeah, the farmer is more important than getting a movie delivered to my house, and having someone doing the acting in that. I would rather have the fruit there, and I think the farmer should be paid very well for
yeah,
what they do. Uh, the steel builder that built my car should be paid well good because I need that car and I need that equipment, but we don't pay them. There's an unequal, a disproportional structure that we have that doesn't pay. It starts with our media and our concept of blue collar and white collar. And these men should generally make more and have pretty good livings because every time you go to the store and you pick up a simple can of oil, there's a lot of guys that did that work and they deserve to get paid well for that. If there was a more equal distribution of the wealth, but Hollywood makes billions and billions of dollars and can afford to pay guys for simple skills like acting or just being pretty. Yeah.
again, exactly. But I give credit where credit is due. If actor is good, he should pay more than some guy that really sucks.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, we're talking like you said, it's distribution of wealth. Like there's a group of people that are not really doing so much and not contributing so much. They're making shitload of money for, like you said, just being pretty or whatever. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
whether
Oh yeah.
men and women alike.
Oh right. Yeah, they're creating lighter than air jobs now, and then them lighter than air jobs are usually leeching off the
A guy
system.
who in real, yeah. And for example, what's more important, the guy who invented the wheel or the guy who came up with the first microchip?
Yeah, that's a
Because without the wheel, you won't have that microchip. Is that correct? Yeah.
Julia's heart factors. I'm just reading the comments. I think we're back to a normal board now. It's very good to have our normal board back where the guys are just talking and chatting and having fun.
Well, as long
Um,
as you ignore the trolls, they usually just go away because they have no effect.
yeah, that's good. Back to a normal board, and the guys can do what they do, and they're rather hilarious. And there sometimes they go off. Sometimes it's good to see. And but we're back to the normal board. Yeah, we argue a
Oh,
lot
by
in
the way,
Mgtow.
speaking of trolls, yeah, just please, just 1 second. Speaking of trolls, there was a troll posing a shoe on head that posted some weird comments on my channel. I'm sure you're aware of that. Well, it
Yeah.
turns out that there's a reasonable doubt. Yeah, there's a reasonable doubt that that it wasn't shoe on head. It was just some troll. So I took the video down. But I stand 100% with you travel. Let me just call it travel. Traversable Mgtow is a bit hard, hard to sell. And messengerizing about anything else in that video that I stated. I just want to make that clear.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Trolls are tricky.
Yeah.
They're getting better at their game every day, but we have to be ready for this and be on top of our game. Like James says, don't feed. We should just not feed the trolls. Uh, uh, that's good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, I invited Zeta and he hasn't come in. We wanted to do that business, and how we do our businesses and what we do in life and everything. And it's important to talk about business stuff too. And there's a lot of subjects in Mgtow that are important to Mgtow's men's health, uh, business. They're generally important to most men. Women don't get this stuff. The women don't get. Well, women don't get life in general. Men, we do certain things. We do it, even as far as like the beer we drink and stuff like that. It's important to us. Uh, it's men subjects. We like to stick on them around here. James came in and we did a little short period on business, and how you think about business and how easy it is pretty much nowadays to jump into that. And all you need is a little luck sometimes. Find that product, sell it, and increase your wealth, and don't give it away. Don't be a simp. Don't give your product don't give your wealth away. Don't give your utility away for free. Charge for it. Uh,
Right. It's not. Nobody says that. It's
No,
easy, but if with persistence, you can do it. And as long as you have some kind of skill in the particular field that you're pursuing, and of course you will also build up your skill as you're pursuing it. There is a way to make money with almost any type of skill,
yeah, yeah.
as long
But
as you push.
you push and you do it. You work through those hard times. I remember.
timing, joking. You know what he says? If you're good at something, never do it for free.
Never do it for free. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember when I first started my
Yeah,
first business.
yeah.
My mother, and my brother was like, "Joe, you do this for so cheap." And I said, "Well, I'm learning how to do it now, so I'm trying to give it away cheaper. But as soon as I learned that business, the right way to do it, I raised the price on what I was doing. That raised the price increments to my skill, and I started thinking about myself at higher regards. At first, you have to learn how to do it. You're a journeyman sometimes, and you're not going to get that big bucks for being a journeyman. But after you learn everything about it, that's when you can demand it. You can demand the money. People will appreciate that too. Uh, People appreciate skilled men. Come to their house, do whatever they do. Whatever you do well, people will appreciate what you do well, and that's where you're going to make more money. Sure, I remember George Bush saying. Yeah.
Yeah, but speaking of money, people who made some serious paper are not necessarily, some of them are skillful, but especially today, I mean, we're living in a very fast-moving society, and people make fortunes just for showing up at the right place at the right time.
Yeah. Yeah, you can
Lose their
stumble into
money
something
the
sometimes.
same way.
Yeah. I see a lot of people
Yeah.
in my life just stumble into, just made the right decision, stumbled into it, and all of a sudden, it was a mega money adventure. Uh, that happens, especially in the capitalistic societies. Sometimes you just stumble into something. God bless you if you're one of those people. you know,
Well, luck has always played a role in many
Still not,
things,
but
but it doesn't mean that you cannot help it along.
yeah, you can help it along. Yeah, you make your own luck sometimes. You know, uh, you hear that often. Make your own luck. Eh, that's being tenacious, being well prepared. Uh, you know, trim all the edges. Be well prepared. Be the guy that thinks ahead, and that just takes a little work. Sit down and think about things. Think about what's going to happen here, what's going to happen there, all those threads, what you're willing to take, what you're willing to, how you're going to do that actual business. It's little things like how you're going to take the money. You got to have all that stuff figured out. Do the, dot we used to call it dotting our I's and crossing our T's. Make sure you dot your I's and you cross your T's. That's what's going to make you really successful.
point is, you should always, do things that you love to do,
Yeah,
and the opportunity will present itself at some point. But if you're miserable at your job, then you're wasting not only your time, you're wasting your life, man.
yeah. You're
Uh,
wasting
you,
you're
you
wasting your
know,
time, or you're
people,
wasting
yeah,
other
people.
people's time.
I mean, what I'm trying to say is, when you do what you love to do, if that's your job, that's a reward by itself. You know, I mean that itself is a reward. Waking up every day and be happy about uh, what's ahead of you, and not feeling miserable about it.
Yeah, yeah. What I do is, I see so many people that try to emulate and try to mimic what people do. It was one of the things that I was curious to me when I was younger. Uh, you would look at some of the guys and they would say, "Well, John is over here and he's doing that, so I can do that too." and he was never thinking about what his special skills. He was just seeing. He was envious of John over there making widgets, and he said, "I can do that too." And most of the time, they failed at that because he was just emulating somewhat what somebody else did. Passion and desire have a lot to do with that. We all understand things differently, and the most successful people I've known in my life didn't have huge skills on a lot of things. Some of them were very stupid men, but they understood one thing very well, and he was the only person in the world that understood how to do that. And if anybody else tried to emulate him or tried to mimic him, they couldn't do that because their minds didn't work that way. His mind was special. It worked that way, and that's what he did. That was his thing in life. That's what he liked to do. And once you get that incorporated, what you are, and things should be natural. It should go in a natural progression. When things start getting too, I often look around and I do the observations in what I do. If things start getting rough to do, then I'm not doing it naturally, and then I got to readjust and do it naturally, and then it'll start running natural into life. Everything works better. Amara's got 2 Amaras now. Yeah. So who's in the room? You guys want to give out a couple of shout outs here? Active viewers. Who's in the room now? Autonomous Male, Joey Argon, love Joey. Johnny Midnight, Patrick Lutchk. I can't pronounce that. Sorry, Patrick. Veritech Ace and Warhorse. Hello, Warhorse. I invited Warhorse in if he wanted to come in earlier, but he's always interesting having. Hello, Warhorse. And let me see. We've been going about 2.5 hours here. I'm probably going to shut this one down, get something to eat, and then maybe I'll start up again around 4 if somebody wants to come in or somebody wants to do this again at 4.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way we used to do it. That's what Zeta was, always good for the 4 o'clock one. So that's at 2.5 hours. It should be very palatable. There was some very unpalatable moments during this with the troll. I think I was going along well.
Yes.
Until the troll came in. But trolls do that. They disrupt everything. That's what they want to do. They want to disrupt what we're doing here. They want to disrupt our speech. They want to disrupt what we're saying. They want to disrupt helping men because they want somehow they get some strange excitement out of that.
Well, it's kind of like those students who start screaming. Every time there's some kind of pro-male discussion going on campus, you have a bunch of students. It's not that they want to debate. They just stand outside and they scream until it is not possible to do the debate, or the whole thing has to be shut down. It's the same thing here. It's not that the troll came here to discuss anything. They just kept spamming things, trying to block the whole thing.
Yeah, and to testament to the people around here and to me and myself, we just kept going, and that's what we got to do. Just ignore them, keep going, keep doing our thing, because our thing's going to help men. It's gonna help men navigate this world that we live in. It's going to give you ideas about that they're not going to tell you in school and high school and preschool. They don't want you to know. They want you to be good little workers. We're not here about being good little workers in Mgtow. We're about being better men, more successful men. That's what we do. We're not giving our stuff away anymore. We're not the doers. We're the beers, and we're going to be men, and we're going to be in this world, and we're going to force it into the consciousness of the community around us, and that's important. And it's important for our community. It's important for ourselves. It's important for our countries, whatever countries we're in. We need more men that are willing to be men, to be that independent guy that does things, because it's good. If we have a lot of those guys, our general communities, our states and our countries do better. And they're killing us right now. All the laws and all the the schools and the they're not letting men be men. Let the men rise to the top. Don't worry about what the women are doing. Don't worry about that pussy. Uh, that'll drag you down. But here, Mgtow, that's what we're doing. We're not worried. We're not asking permission from these trolls to do it. We're just going to keep doing it anyways. They think we need to ask permission from them. We don't need to ask permission. Nope, not us. We're just going to keep doing it. And with that, I think I'm going to shut this podcast down. I'm getting hungry. I need a cup of coffee and a sandwich, and my head's starting to hurt. And maybe I'll start it up a little later if one of the guys, Red Pill Gaming or Warhorse or you, Amar, want to come in, and we'll start this up at 4 o'clock again.